going on, guys? It is yours truly, the Miracle Man, back bringing you another video, but this time it is not a road to 1,000, but actually a top 10 platinum video. So as you guys know, before I started this whole YouTube thing, I had plenty of platinums beforehand. I have 83 currently, and I only have about 10 or 15 of them on my YouTube channel, meaning that there's roughly about 65 to 70 platinums that you guys never saw me play, never saw me experience. And so with these top 10 videos, I hope to show you guys more of why I got these platinums from the past and why I started this whole YouTube thing in general. So without further ado, let's jump right on into the list. Number 10. Coming in at number 10, it's my first ever platinum, The Walking Dead on the PlayStation 3. I enjoy this story a lot. I played all 4 seasons of this game, and the reason it makes number 10 on my list is because it's my first ever platinum. It's the platinum that started it all. And surprisingly, The Walking Dead platinum comes in at 45.3%. I actually thought that the rarity was going to be a lot higher because all you have to do is beat the game for this trophy. It is not difficult whatsoever, but it is my first platinum, so I had to put it on the list. Number 9. Now, the next game on my list has a little bit of a history. Back in the day, I played the original Last of Us Remastered on the PlayStation 4. There were 2 online trophies specifically that I just didn't have the energy or the time to go for. And by the time I was doing this whole trophy hunting thing and went back to that game, it was already too late. There was not enough people playing the online games anymore, and it was impossible to get those trophies. So when Last of Us Part 1 got announced, I was really hoping that there would be a platinum to it just so I could get my redemption with this game. And it did indeed have a platinum, but the story for this game is still incredible. I still had a blast playing it and getting this platinum, and more importantly, it was my redemption platinum, finally getting that Last of Us Part 1 platinum. And so I had to put it on the list. Number 8. Coming in at number 8 is Resident Evil 5. Now, Resident Evil 5 goes on this list for a few different reasons. For one, it's my first co-op trophy that I ever got. I never played any other Resident Evil games before this either, so this was also my introduction to Resident Evil. My dad was the huge Resident Evil fan that played Resident Evil 0 all the way up to Resident Evil 5. Well, I should say Resident Evil 1 all the way up to Resident Evil 5, and of course 0 when it came out. But when Resident Evil 5 came out and the idea of co-op was thrown around, my dad came and asked me if he wanted to play the game, and I said sure. I fell in love with Resident Evil after that, and the rest is history. I wish I could tell you guys that this Resident Evil game is easier than the other ones, but from my recollection, it was still as much of a pain in the ass as the other ones. I got the other ones a lot quicker, of course, because I was focusing on them. It's my first Resident Evil platinum, my first co-op platinum, and the only platinum I ever got with my dad on PlayStation, so that's why it's special to me, and that's why it takes number 8 on this list. Number 7. Now we're going to flash back to the early 2010 era here. There was a show that had just been announced and a show that was just going to be released. Now, I might have just given some of you guys a nostalgic trip with that opening there, but this game and show was known as Falling Skies. The game is roughly based on the events of the show and takes place roughly after Season 2. And the game was actually a strategic turn-based game, so you guys know how I feel about them turn-based games. They're just some of my favorite games out there. I just love them to death whenever a company takes the risk and does something like that, because it's very hard to pull off. But when you do it correctly, man, those games are so much fun. But the reason this platinum is satisfying is for all the wrong reasons. There are 2 trophies on this game that were glitched. Now, there's trophies for unlocking the max version of your squad and upgrading all of your weapons to max. Now, this doesn't sound too bad if you're doing it normally, but unfortunately, both of these trophies are glitched, meaning that you have to get them all done at the same time. And you do not get all of these weapons at the same time. You get them vastly different times throughout the campaign from one another. So you had to essentially wait to the end of the game to upgrade all of your weapons, making the game strategically and undeniably much harder. So as you guys probably know, I had to play the entire game again. And I did finally get all of the trophies for this game, and I can't tell you guys how much fun I still had playing this game. It's one of those games where, with glitched trophies, I still had an absolute blast playing this game. Hence why it takes the number 7 spot on my list, and if you guys haven't seen the show, it is highly recommended. It is still one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. Number 6. Next up on the list, we have Resistance 3. I was super hyped when the game was released, and I was ready to get this platinum. In this game, you're going to run into enemies known as leeches. And to get the trophy that I had trouble with, you had to get a leech to blow up, I think it was 5 enemies. But I shit you not, I did this for 6 to 7 hours trying to get this trophy in one spot, to where I got way more than 5 people at one time at multiple points in that 6 to 7 hour span. And I still never got the trophy. So I thought that this was a glitched trophy, so I gave up on this platinum. 4 years down the line, one of my friends actually fell in love with Resistance and got the platinum for that game. I asked him how he got it, and he showed me the spot that he got it in. I went to a different spot, which was only 2 areas earlier than the spot I was trying, and was able to get that trophy finally to pop the first time I tried it. But this game was fantastic. It was done by Insomniac Games, and for some reason, Insomniac has this thing of doing trilogies for games and then just not wanting to do a 4th one for some reason. They did it with Spyro, they did it with Ratchet and Clank, they did it with Resistance Fall of Man. I don't understand why Insomniac is afraid of the 4th game in the franchise. I had to put this game on the list because it's still one of my favorite post-apocalyptic alien games of all time. And just the journey of getting the platinum was just such a task that finally getting that platinum, of course it was satisfying. Number 5. Now, this game is kind of different because there's not any of trophies in this game that are difficult. There's not any trophies in this game that are going to make you pull your hair out. There's nothing really about this game that is hard. It's just a grind-heavy platinum. The 2 trophies that I see most people having trouble with is the gallery completion and getting all of the titans into your gallery section. And I understand, because after you play the first 30 minutes of this game, I promise you guys, you've seen everything this game has to offer. And it's sad because the omnidirectional movement in this game that's based on the movement in the show is done extremely well. It's just extremely repetitive. And that wouldn't be too big of an issue if the gallery didn't have you playing the campaign a total of 2 times at minimum and upgrading every single weapon in the game. So I guess there would be a hard trophy in this game. It would have to be the upgrading the weapons section, because there's so many different materials that you have to grab. Some of them are just really grind heavy and tedious. By the time I got this platinum, I was over 200 hours into this game. Now granted, those other 100 hours might have come from the other 3 times that I invested into trying to get this platinum. And this platinum is actually my 2nd rarest platinum, coming in at just 3.16%. And that right there is another reason why it belonged on this list for me. Number 4. Coming in at number 4, oh man, I don't even know where to start with this one. Let me just put it this way. If you walked up to 500 random Kingdom Hearts fans and asked them what their least favorite Kingdom Hearts game was, I'm guaranteeing you over 75% to 85% of them are going to say Rechain of Memories. This game has one gameplay feature that a lot of fans just didn't enjoy, and that was the card battling system. The levels aren't great, guys. They're just very bare bones, and this is another one of those when you've seen the first 5-10 minutes of the game, you've basically seen the whole game. If the card battling system wasn't enough, you had to complete the entire collection of cards. And beyond that, you have to get to level 99 twice because you have Sora and Riku in this game, so you have to do the entire thing twice. So I got all the collection cards done, I got all the enemy cards, got everything done, and the trophy still didn't want to pop for me. I was still missing around 13 or 14 cards in my collection, and I didn't understand why. It turns out for the HD remaster, they added 12 or 13 cards related to the 358 over 2 days game that was tied to the game. Now, this is not a bad thing, but if you already started the game, it's too late. So I got all the way to the end, basically 100%ing what I needed to, finding out that I was 13 cards short that I had to restart all over for. So when I finally got this platinum to pop, guys, there was only few things that were more satisfying in terms of platinums when it came to that. This year, I'm going to be doing all the Kingdom Hearts games on both PS4 and PS3, so I will have to do Rechain of Memories one more time. So, boy, I can't wait for that one. But that is going to be a story and a platinum for another day. Number 3. Whew. You guys knew there was going to be one sports game on here, but I bet some of you were expecting it to be the more recent MLB The Show 23. It is actually 2K20. But with 2K20, there was only one trophy that was hard to get, in my opinion, and that's the Ultimate Collector Trophy, where you had to get the GOAT Collector level, which I think at the time of this game was 2,300 cards. There's a player in this game that was at GOAT Collector level, and that player is my third favorite player in basketball. And it's going to surprise a lot of you, but that player's name is Clyde the Glide Drexler. And I've said this to many people, that if it was any other player besides Clyde at that GOAT Collector level, I probably would not have this platinum to this day. But I've got this platinum because of Clyde, so I have to give a huge shout out to Clyde. I was also at the pinnacle of my team grind at this point, and I was still loving 2K, like 16, 17 hours a day I felt like I was investing into this game when I had the time. And now I can barely invest 2 to 3 hours, if that, before I get frustrated with it. But I had to put it on this list because to this day, it is my rarest platinum I have ever gotten, coming in at just 0.25%. And it's probably going to stay that way for a long, long time. As the servers finally went offline after 3 years of being in service, so this platinum is no longer attainable anymore. So this platinum is probably going to be number 1 on my list for a long, long time in terms of rarity. Number 2. Now, if you guys told me a month ago when I was thinking of the idea for this video that Battlefront 2 was going to be on this list, I would have told you guys that you were crazy. Because never would I ever expected to have Battlefront 2's platinum at this point in time. I love Battlefront 2 to death, guys. I love Star Wars. I loved everything about this game and this franchise. Still do to this day. And at the time of recording this video, I finally achieved the platinum for Battlefront 2. I never left this game's side. I was with it for 5 straight years from 2017 all the way up until now. This was a platinum actually 6 years in the making. After a 7-hour stream 2 days before making this video, I am finally proud to say that this game is finally done and platinum. And because I platinumed it 2 days ago, I do have a reaction to the platinum for you guys. So here you go. Enjoy. That one right there. It's away! It's away! Come on! Yes! Let's go! Woo! And before we jump into number 1, guys, I have to throw in some honorable mentions in there. Some of the games that just couldn't make the list. Watch Dogs 1. Watch Dogs 1 was just, it was going to be my first PlayStation 4 platinum, and it would have made this list, but it just had too many glitchy trophies. And if it wasn't for my friend that got into this game about 2 months ago, I still wouldn't have this platinum. So while it is a satisfying platinum, I just couldn't put it on the list because I just had so much frustration with this game that I just was ready to be done with it by the time I got the platinum. And it wasn't satisfying, it was just relief. Maneater. Maneater was actually going to be my first PlayStation 5 platinum, but shocker, there was a glitch trophy. And finally, when they updated the game, they did, of course, fix the trophies. It was mostly boss trophies that they didn't give you, or trophies that didn't pop. But this game's really fun. It came out with some DLC recently, and maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe I'll go back 100% if you guys have any interest, but it's a fun game. But it just couldn't make the list just because of glitches, and there were games that just topped it, in my opinion. The Spyro Reignited Trilogy. This actually comes down to 3 platinums, and the only reason it's not on the list is because I couldn't put all 3 of these games on the list because it just wouldn't make any sense. But these are so much fun, guys. I love Spyro to death. Please, 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 Toys for Bob, make a Spyro 4. The fans have been waiting patiently. Crash has had his time with his new games. Let Spyro fans get theirs, please. That's all I'm asking. Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare is actually my 3rd rarest platinum, coming in at only 3.99%. And it's also my 2nd ever platinum that I've ever achieved. So why didn't it make the list? It's Call of Duty, guys. Like I said, when I got the platinum for this game, it wasn't satisfying, it was just relief. Number 1. Now this might shock some of you guys. Some of you guys might have been expecting this, but yes, Pac-Man on the PlayStation 4, the remaster, is my favorite and most satisfying platinum at this current time. For a few reasons. It's a fantastic remaster, first off, that came out of nowhere. And so when it got announced, I was super excited to play the game and played it opening night. I absolutely loved Pac-Man as a kid, guys. I played on the arcade machine so much as a kid playing Pac-Man. I played all kinds of Pac-Man on the PlayStation 1, and so when this remaster came out, of course I was going to go for the platinum. But what shocked me is that when I got the platinum on the PlayStation 5, I was second in the world to platinum it on the PlayStation 5, only getting edged out by a total of 36 minutes. So I thought to myself, well, did anybody get on the PlayStation 4? And to my surprise, nobody did. So it took me a total of 5 hours and 57 minutes. It was insane how fast I cruised through this platinum on the PS4. The arcade stuff wasn't hard for me because I played this game so many times, I got to the glitched level. I'm great at arcade Pac-Man to the point that so many people were asking me to do the help them out with that trophy. But to my absolute delight and shock, I was still number 1 on the PlayStation 4 in the world. So it was so nice to get that feeling of being the first to platinum something, because when I wanted to do this YouTube thing, it was huge at the time. I was getting my equipment set up and ready, and this was really just a big boost for me that I could really do this. Like, getting number 1 as a platinum, it might not be a big deal to like some people, but to me it was just such a great moment and such a happy and satisfying moment for me, and there's no game that has topped it to this point. Every time I think about this game, every time I think about this platinum, it just brings me pure satisfaction and joy. There were no problems with this game. I had no issues. But to this day, there is no platinum that is more satisfying, that brings me more happiness, and that brings me more joy than Pac-Man World Remastered on the PlayStation 4. Please, Namco, do Pac-Man World 2, because that was my childhood. I would just love that. So please, I know that the game sold extremely well and got great reviews, so I'm hoping you guys are already working on it. But however, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of style of video here. I just want to kind of think of a cool way to kind of show you guys my past platinums without just talking about the games like I've been talking with my newer games, because I don't have any genuine reaction footage of me getting trophies to show you guys. So I want to do something a little different to kind of give you guys my past platinum hunting journeys. But our next platinum on this list is going to be Jedi Survivor. And if you guys want to check out the streams that we've been doing, I'm streaming every single day until we get that Jedi Survivor platinum. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like, comment, subscribe button, and hit that bell notification so anytime I go live, post a video or anything else on this channel, that you guys know about it and are notified. And as always, guys, this was your boy, the Miracle Man. And always remember, if you're not playing the game for the platinum, you're playing the game wrong.